All right, quickest spontaneous podcast ever. Basically, just checking out the new resolution. The last time what happened was the camera overheated and turned off, and I didn't even know that this is possible. But every day you learn something new, so that happened. So yeah, here we are. Actually, just checking out how it looks during the daytime. But more than that, one thing I'm really pissed about is the time scam. It's a thing where, well, first of all, it's so annoying how everyone on this planet agreed that the time is the most valuable asset that we have. It's more important than money because you can lose money, you can get it back, you can make more money, but you can never get your time back. So, okay, good. Agreement, done. Okay, nice meeting you. Nice meeting you, James. Nice meeting you, Steven. Okay, cool. We agreed. Now, even though we agreed on it, still people treat each other like the time is the least important thing. Like, oh, hey, wait for me there, and you just wait, nothing happens, you wait, you waste your time, then the guy shows up and he's like, oh yeah, actually, well, blah, blah, blah. It's so annoying. And then, I get it, it can happen sometimes. It's not like you have to be pissed about every single case, but these things, they happen everywhere. Like you go to some company or agency or some government funded thing, and like they're like, yeah, just wait here, just wait there, and then like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours, like you have to wait for some bullshit that can be, all of this can be solved and aligned and made like very clean and organized with just like proper structure, but it's never there. Like literally, you can feel that whenever someone is burning your time, basically time scamming you, they kind of don't care about you, and that's like such a bullshit thing. And it's so normalized now, it's so frustrating. Like the worst example, it happens every single time when I go to like buy clothes. I would go to one shop and I find some jacket or something, and I'm like, oh, this is great, but I want like a bigger size or a smaller size. So then I'm like going to the cashier, I'm like, hey, this is really good, I like it, like it fits me really well. Do you have a bigger one? And she's like, oh yeah, let me take a look. Well, maybe we have. She goes to check it on her computer. She's like, oh, well, unfortunately, we don't have that. Okay, cool. I'm a bit sad, but hey, there is this another store on the other side of the city. It's the exact same brand. Maybe they have it. Can you check? She's like, yeah, sure. She starts checking the computer, and yeah, I think we have it. I'm like, are you sure you have it? She's like, yeah, let me call them. Just gonna double check just in case. So she calls the girl that works in this other store, and she's like, okay, yeah, like this ID, this code, this number, this item, this color. Do you have that? And the girl from this other store, she's like, yeah, we have it. Only one left. Okay, cool. I'm saying, okay, I will come pick it up in like 20 minutes. Good stuff. I get into my car, drive to another shop. I walk in. Hey, I'm here for the jacket. Which jacket? What do you mean, which jacket? Like, I just called, we reserved, and she's like, oh yeah, let me take a look. She goes on her computer, starts double checking everything, like a very focused, confused face. She's like, this line, yeah, over here, yeah. She's like, well, unfortunately, we don't have it. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, we just called you 20 minutes ago. The computer said you have it. You just like confirmed everything, and then it's not there. Like, how is it a thing? How is it possible for you to just mismanage the inventory? And things like this is like, I get it. It's not a big deal. Fuck it. Like, who cares? But it's so annoying that you're wasting time, because the first girl could have just said, okay, their warehouse doesn't have that, and I'm gonna be like, cool, I'm just gonna go get some ice cream instead, and then that's it. But like, this is such a normal type of thing to be like, yeah, just go there anyway, even though we're like 99% sure you're just gonna waste your time, but just go still and do it, because like, it doesn't matter. It is so annoying. I don't know, just frustrating. And really, what else I wanted to say, actually this should have been on the first part of the podcast, is that, well, I shouldn't be so pissed and angry actually, but the point is, I remember me growing up, I really looked at things like, it felt like everyone lives a happy life. Like I would notice, for example, the parents of um, my friends, basically ever since I remember my thoughts as I was like going to the kindergarten or something like that. The teachers that were in the kindergarten, they really felt like they have everything figured out. They're very happy. They're very aligned with like what they do. Like it felt like it seemed like they're at peace, and they really figured it out. Like they know what's up. And I kind of lived this life assuming that everyone is like that. And actually, until like very recently, I literally noticed this as basically like, yeah, relatively recently, I started noticing that actually it's not like that. People are pissed, they are frustrated. And like it happens like in this case, I hear a story about this family, about this friend, this happens, and I'm like, that's, well, yeah, that's probably like 1 out of 1 million. It's just like very rarely that it happens. And then, well, it happens again with like this case, this situation, this friend, this family. And I'm like, wow, it actually looks like nobody has nothing figured out. Nobody's actually happy because everyone's kind of struggling with everything pretty much, starting from like financial situation up to like health, just like some kind of like bigger spiritual things like peace, calmness, things like that. And this is kind of considered normal now because everyone is in this situation, is in this condition. Then it has to be normal because, well, by the rule, right? If everyone is doing it, then it has to be normal. So if everyone's depressed, it's okay to be depressed. If everyone's super pissed, not happy with their work, with the financials, with their health, with their love life, that's normal because everyone's doing that. And so my point is it kind of seems like everyone just gave up on actually getting a good life, and we're kind of just doing it half alive, just kind of like struggling just to get some money somewhere and feel really shitty and bad, so then cover the pain with alcohol and drugs, and then kind of feel good for a moment, but then go to sleep, wake up hating life, but then continue struggling, and kind of no second thoughts. Oh yeah, it's fine. Why? Well, my coworker has the same story. Oh well, the girlfriend has the same story. The ex-girlfriend has the same story. Well, probably that's how it is. And this is kind of shocking and frustrating and crazy. Like, why are we not moving towards a healthier life together overall? Why is that not a normal thing? Why is that like not discussed? Even if you go onto social medias, let's say TikTok, the best one right now, the best one. It's all like 99% toxic. It's just like toxic, hateful, shitty, aggressive, negative. Even like the most like positive, like healthy, pure type of videos, they get the most hate. Like, oh fuck you, don't say that. Oh, you're wrong about this. Oh, look at you, you can't do that. Like, it's just like full on hate. And I believe actually this happened like basically when the memes became a thing, which was like 10 years ago or something like that. I remember one person said is that by these memes, the ones that become really popular, that get shared the most, that get the most reactions, by basically what's showed on the meme or the topic or the problem that is presented there, you can kind of judge where like major levels of society are, like where everyone is, or like where the majority of people are with their like mindsets. If there's a meme that's like about depression being cool, everyone's like, ha ha ha, yeah, cool, funny, great thing. Well, then they can relate, and you can see if it becomes popular, then like more people can relate to that. So if you look at what's popular and trending on social media, it's all negative thing. Like it's all a depressing, like a hateful, difficult, painful, like a very heavy kind of thing, energetically heavy, whatever that means. Nobody knows, but like it kind of feels like that when you read about this like negative like jokes and all this kind of stuff. So that is now also normal. So then in the end, like, what's actually going on? Like, what's happening with the society and this whole world? Like, are we moving towards like fixing it, or it's kind of fine and let's just put on the glasses with the metaverse and kind of, you know, swipe all the problems under the carpet, kind of close that and ignore, pretend it's not there, just like close the eyes, forget about it, it's not there. The fact that it's gonna turn into like a real disaster in 5-10 years from then, let's not talk about that. Let's just enjoy this beautiful, cool experience. Like, do you know what I'm talking about? Because this is really like where we're headed towards. You can see that in basically everything. And really what I'm trying to say, like, it feels like, for me, it feels like I'm panicking, and I feel like it's true because there is nothing, like, there is no more conversations that are towards something healthy. Why? Well, because it's difficult. Why? Well, because you have to deal with some problems. Why? Well, you'll have to challenge yourself. And that's painful, and you'll probably fail initially, and you'll probably not gonna be able to make it as easy as is shown in all of the like movies and stories, where it's just a smooth ride and it's so beautiful. It's never like that in real life, and that's what makes the progress so valuable and so good. And yet, like, we're completely leaning like away from that thing. Like, remove that thing, like put it as far as possible into like the furthest box, and like basically just throw it away and just lean towards this like faster, quicker, like enjoyment, stimulations, and like that's where we want to be. Again, I believe not everyone's like that. I believe actually, ironically, with all the things that I just said, I think there's a lot of like smaller communities that you can find like here and there, where people are kind of trying to aim for like a maybe a bigger reason or a bigger purpose, or just like a healthier lifestyle overall, and they're trying to do that in like smaller groups. Maybe it's like a smaller circle of friends or like a small community, and I believe they are like becoming more frequent, which is amazing. But still, it feels very like they're kind of like underground. You cannot like see them. It's like you will never see that stuff on social media, pretty much, except maybe sometimes here and there some people are like really trying to get like a word out. And yeah, that's just a thing that came to my mind. So yeah, probably enough of that crap that's like too difficult, too spiritual, whatever, boring kind of bullshit. So yeah, that's the thing. Well, actually, the other thing that came to my mind, which again, it's like a full panic mode, but I feel like I just gotta let it out. But as I said, with like what's normal and what's being normalized, I feel like that's extremely dangerous, or it can get really dangerous, because if you normalize, let's say you really make it like socially it's accepted and it's fine, and you can normalize something like really awful. For example, someone's death. Like, oh, someone died. Well, not a big deal. Well, it happens too often. Well, look, next day again someone died. Well, look, next day again someone died. Basically, this entire week someone was dying. And then the next week, and the next week. And then it just keeps going like that. And then you see it always in the news. It's always reported, talked about. And there is no actual attempt to solve this problem. So it's kind of slowly being forced into becoming like this normal, completely, totally normal thing. And once society accepts that, it's like, oh yeah, whatever, it happens all the time, blah blah. Like, you'll see like when it starts to show up in the movies, in the songs, and like all of the jokes are about that, and it's like it just kind of becomes a thing. Like, yeah, whatever, we just accepted it. We're not gonna fight against like people dying, or like someone's really struggling. It's just like, oh yeah, whatever, that's the thing. It's just gonna be like that. That's where things can get really chaotic, basically, because society now accepts it. Like there's never gonna be like a big outrage or like a big, I don't know, like a big way of judgment or like a social impact kind of, like people will be like, no, like what the fuck is going on, this is not okay. If you push society enough to like these extreme kind of levels and normalize them, then like a total chaos can just what's the word, forgot the word. Yeah, it's this is the worst part of this podcast, is that I, as I said, I can't even like speak English properly, but I just want to share some things. But yeah, so that's frustratingly annoying and scary at the same time. And this is kind of the reality where things are happening right now. So yeah, and also let's talk about this another thing, crypto and all of these things. And by the way, I swear I'm not the crypto guy. This is kind of like a hilarious thing. I feel like maybe like what 4 or 5 years ago there was like this vegan type of person. You meet them and they're like, like instead of saying their name, they're like, hey, I'm vegan, by the way, I'm vegan, just so you know, I'm vegan, you know, like this kind of stuff. I feel like now crypto guys are like that. And I swear I'm not like that. I just like learned it maybe like 2 weeks ago. Just really got into it, and I actually feel like a grandpa because of that, because like it's such a new thing, and I try to get into it and understand. It's so difficult. There's so many different layers and so much terminology. It really feels confusing, even though I would consider myself like it should be easy for me to understand. But it took a bit of time to like really get the hang of it. But the point is, like actually, well, first of all, I thought it's like a big scam, and I feel like it is still a big scam. Like most of that stuff is really just a basic pyramid scheme. Basically, like what's a like perfect layout for a pyramid scheme? You just get like 10 people, make everyone throw the money like into the circle, and then whoever grabs all of the money first, they are the winner, and the rest of the people lose. Basically, that's the whole point. Because most of these crypto coins and the things that you can see there is kind of the exact same scheme. It's just that instead of 10 people, there are like probably millions of people, and sometimes there's a project attached to the coin, so they're actually like, if they're actually producing something, then it can make sense. But if they don't, then it's just a straight up like a gamble of like who will be lucky enough or smart enough to pull out all of their money and basically take the money of others, so then others are losing, and that's kind of like not a very nice thing financially, even though people are saying like it's for people, it's for everyone, everyone can invest. Yes, that's true, but it's kind of like a crazier risk in terms of yeah, like if you don't understand what's going on, it can be like really crazy. But anyway, that's not the point. Now the point is that some of these projects that seems like they're actually trying to do something, not just like gather the money and then drop the market, but they're trying to basically connect people, unite, create some platforms where basically anyone would be able to join it and have equal opportunities. And I do this because I don't really understand exactly like how they work, but it feels like there are some like genuinely good intentions there. So who knows, maybe that's one of the like next huge things, starting from this like 2021 is the time when I'm recording this. Who knows, maybe like in the next 5-10 years crypto can become like a different market in itself that has, well, maybe bigger, not bigger, but like better ideas, better investments, better platforms for people to grow and scale and actually work towards these like healthy goals to like make the community healthy, make the society healthy, make the basically the entire world, the governments and all of that, like in a more healthy way. I don't know if that's going to be possible. Realistically, probably not, because it's so difficult to get on like this pure path in terms of like building something. And I feel like this is kind of like another huge concept in itself, because when you're trying to create or make something, it really takes a lot of effort and energy, and it's really difficult to create something that works and something that really has value. It's so much easier to fake that or present like something bad as if it has value. But creating something genuinely good is really difficult. And even though I believe crypto can have a chance to move towards that direction, and let's say even if it gets to that point where it's actually good for society, then it can snap towards something like completely chaotic and crazy, because well, it's still owned by some people, and generally speaking, considering all of these like researches on psychology and things like that, is like once a person is in a position of power and leverage, basically the whole brain chemistry changes towards feeling like everybody kind of like owes you things, and you are doing so much favor for them, so you can kind of not abuse, but take advantage of your position and of people. So yeah, crypto seems like it can have like a brighter impact on our future, but who knows, maybe it's just gonna end up being something completely crazy. We never know. So yeah, that was that. And then let me think, well, what else I wanted to talk about. Talked about the time scam, which is like extremely annoying for me, and it happens so much. And by the way, it's not something like I also, it's really important. Like I don't want to be this kind of person, or I don't want to create this maybe narrative or this kind of like angle towards things where you just want to be like not satisfied or always annoyed by something, or just like basically bitch about things and being like, oh yeah, this is bad, this is wrong. That's not really the case. It's just that I think it's important to notice some things that are wrong, but then also actively go for a solution. And well, unfortunately, some bigger problems that impact the entire society, you can't just solve them as like a single person, as a single person. So then what can you do to solve that is that you can solve it in a group with another group of people who think the same way like you do, or basically maybe not think the same way, but they have the same goals. So there's always a solution, and I believe everything's possible to change and fix. It's just sometimes I want to rant about these things. I have some crazy thoughts that just never stop, and so yeah, that's why we're here. Basically, the whole point of this is that I should have went to a therapy to get some help, but instead I decided to start a podcast. So here we are talking about some nonsense. Yeah. I'm thinking, should I end it here or not? I also forgot to set the timer. Not even sure how much I'm recording. I also hope the camera is not gonna overheat this time, and there should be a new mic setup that should come soon, so the audio should be a bit better, and we'll see where to take it from there. And also just gonna throw some thoughts out there. Basically, with this whole YouTube thing at this moment, what I can see is that there is really a ton of opportunity to create a channel or even like a business, or yeah, like either a business or just like a side hustle where you can make extra money. And it's a really good thing to do, basically for anyone that wants to grow. Oh yeah, and that's one more thing, kind of like adding like a small layer on top of that, is that in 2021, where like basically at this point, people are literally buying some image files, all of these NFTs, for like millions or like close to millions. Digital, like it makes no sense, and I was like actually super pissed when I just figured out like people would buy like such a useless thing for so much money, until you understand why it makes sense. It does make some kind of sense if you can understand that the future is going to be in the digital world, and like everything is going to be digital. I don't fully understand how that can make sense, but I can kind of get it if you can imagine the world where, you have your house, you have your character and all that. Basically a video game that is a real life, something like that. I don't know. But the point is, that's in the future. But right now, since we're moving towards that direction, it kind of makes zero sense to not create content. It makes no sense to not be online. It makes no sense to not be some kind of version of yourself in the digital side of things. It's actually very funny that I say that, because I'm a very strong believer that life is natural and you want to be outside in the nature, in touch with your own body, your energy, and enjoying the sun and fresh air, and that really has a meaning. But again, it's a very tricky thing to balance, because let's say for me, even though I want that and I think that's the only true pure way, you also cannot disconnect from society. And the crazy part is that society is moving to the exactly different direction. That's literally what's going on right now, is that it is gonna be the VR glasses and just get the remote controllers and just kind of enjoy some kind of made up world, but you can feel good about it, or something like that, because probably it's not gonna have any of these problems, and you can somehow get by, or just get distracted. So the point is, it's really hard to balance these things, but I think the beauty of life is in balance, and that is the most difficult thing to do. So actually it's kind of hard to kind of come to some kind of conclusion, or my final words on this topic. But as I said before, I think it makes sense to create a lot of content and just be online, whatever it is that you're doing, even if you're just kind of chilling, hanging out, just laying on the couch, not working, not doing anything. Actually, there's some bird walking on the roof. That's kind of weird. I never saw it. It starts distracting me. But it doesn't matter what you're doing. I think it makes a lot of sense to just show your presence online on the internet, because I believe it's kind of common sense. It's kind of this very basic levels of logic, because if, let's say, majority or a huge chunk of people will switch to the digital world, well, you kind of want to be there already. Again, this is probably why having these NFTs and these properties on the digital properties on the internet, it makes more sense if you look at it from that perspective, because you're just kind of, let's say, financially, you're just investing into the future. You're just kind of looking ahead and kind of planning for the future. I'm not sure how much that can help financially, but I think it can make some kind of sense. And then also at the same time, with all these pandemics, regulations, and all this stuff, people are bored. So, why not show your cool thing, or a cool a passion of yours, or something that you're doing, creating. That's just kind of my advice. I don't know if you can take it as an advice or not, but just my thoughts. Realistically, that's one of the reasons why I decided to even do this myself. Again, I don't see, although we never know. Actually, all of the digital can go away very fast if there's some major problems with electricity and the internet, and then you never know where we're gonna end up actually in the end. And I also want to mention one more thing about conspiracy theories. I'm not sure. I don't want to make these too long, because I want to balance them out. I'd rather do more of these smaller series or parts, but more frequently, than make them into a really long ones. As I said, I forgot when I started this podcast. I keep checking out the time, and next time I should put the timer on so I know where I am with the time. But probably I'm gonna end here, and then we'll see what comes in the next part. But totally not knowing how to end the thing, but that's it. It's the end right now.